All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Prophet John here. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. So 50 Cent basically said what many people, were thinking or have been asking themselves. And I've seen several people do videos on it on YouTube. And so 50 Cent finally comes out and says, look, man, I just want to know why Oprah Winfrey is only going after her own people, right? And even her friend, her best friend Gail, right? Gail, I don't know her, is it Gail Myers or I don't know what her last name is, but Oprah Winfrey's best friend Gail, she went after R. Kelly, right? And so, Oprah went after Michael Jackson. He's dead. He's deceased. You know what I mean? Like, let the man family rest, have peace, right? So she goes after him. She's going after all these African Americans, and yet, if you look at the studies, you see that African American, it's low. We're low on all this sexual assault stuff and all that stuff. It's the people that are in Hollywood, the Zionists in Hollywood that are really high on that list, right? And it's interesting that somebody also said, I think it was Doctor Boyce Watkins said, have you noticed that they've never went after any gay man or a gay woman? Like they don't do the same, like they don't have sexual assaults in the gay community, right? And that's because they're Oprah Winfrey's doing what she's told, right? She's not doing she's doing what she's told, regardless if she likes it or not, right? And so I've been saying for years she's a Zionist puppet, right? And 50 Cent knows she's a Zionist puppet. 50 Cent's also part of playing the game as well, right? So but even when you play the game, you still people always still want to balance, right? Even if you're playing the Zionist game, even if you're in Hollywood and you're worshiping the Baphomet and stuff, and you're selling your soul, people, even when they do that, people still want balance. They still want you to be like, okay, we know that you sold your soul for fame and fortune, or you've taken the oath of Baphomet, but we still want you to look at both sides and why you only targeting your own people, right? So another thing is Oprah Winfrey has made most of her billions off of white people. Let's be real, right? Like how many? I mean, white people and Asians are the ones that really were watching her shows. Especially white women, right? So for her, she knows that, and so I guess it's hard for her to want to go after the Caucasian people or the Asian people or any other race because a lot of them were the ones that made her billionaire, right? Because they were watching the Oprah Winfrey show. So, and literally most of her cast and her producers and everybody were Zionists or white or Jews, right? So, like that's what she is familiar with. So she doesn't want to go after them. She'd rather go after her own people, right? But it doesn't make her look good, and that's the problem. So now people are calling her out for it. Okay, so so 50 Cent says when it's clear the penalties have been far more extreme for African American men. Okay, so says TMZ says that 50 Cent slams Oprah Winfrey for only going after black men accused of sexual assault. Yeah, because her friend, one of her best friends, is Harvey Weinstein, and he's settling for $25 million. Do you see that Harvey Weinstein didn't even go to jail, but Bill Cosby is in jail? That's pretty interesting, right? Bill Cosby is in jail, but Harvey Weinstein isn't. Harvey Weinstein has done absolutely satanic, demonic, disgraceful things to women in Hollywood for them to get roles and to play role to have roles in Hollywood and to get on movies. They had to do disgusting things, and he's not in prison. He's taking settlements and giving money away. Hey, shut up. Here's money. Here's $5 million. Shut up and sign this non-disclosure, right? And so now I think Harvey Weinstein is just settling for 25 million with this other woman, while Bill Cosby's in prison. While Bill Cosby had his they literally stripped Bill Cosby of everything he had, but Harvey Weinstein isn't being stripped of nothing. He's just losing money that he can always make back with another movie. So the way they do African Americans in this country compared to the way they do Zionists and everybody else is literally night and day, right? They literally will strip you of your whole entire legacy if you're African American. Look what they're doing to Russell Simmons and all these other people accused of something in the 60s and the 70s. Are you kidding me? When has something in the 60s and 70s been able to destroy your whole entire legacy? But that's what they do to African Americans. Nobody in the white community or the Zionist community, the Jews or the Asian communities are being stripped of, or even the Spanish communities or Cuban communities are being stripped of everything that they work hard for because of somebody saying that they did something to them in the 1970s. Pretty weird. And then you have Oprah Winfrey and Gail going after African American men only, not choosing to go after nobody else. So it raises the question: what are you doing? And the reason why, and they're going to tell you, well, we have handlers. They're telling us this is what we must do. So you know what I mean? Because people told her, "What are you doing going after Michael Jackson? Are you crazy? You guys don't understand that she has handlers and she's a Zionist puppet. They tell her what to do, and so it doesn't matter if Oprah Winfrey doesn't want to do it. She has to do it, right? Or she gets punished, right? Oprah doesn't have the money that you think she has, by the way, right? A lot of people in Hollywood don't have the money they think. They put all this money in that they're worth this and that, and they really aren't worth anything, right? Because it's all controlled by Zionists. They watch everything they do. They watch every paycheck. They watch every thing they purchase. They watch everything. These people are slaves to the Zionists. They really are. They really don't have anything. This is why when they go to court, you always hear them say, "I really don't have anything. It's just a massage or a facade. Or it's just a mirage." Even 50 went through that, where he went up in court and said, I really don't have the millions that you guys think I have. I really don't have. It's all for show, right? So when they get into the courtrooms, we always hear that they don't have the millions that everybody thinks they have. It's a pretend. It's a lie. And that's because they're controlled under Zionism. They're slaves under Zionism. They get the fame, but they don't have really the fortune because they're under Zionist control. And the Zionists can take away the money at any point, at any time. You misbehave, you don't do your rituals like Chris Brown. They'll start making up stuff about you. You're a woman beater and all this other stuff, right? They'll destroy your career in an instant if you don't follow the rituals, right? These people are slaves, man. You guys out here praising and worshiping and idolizing slaves to Zionism. Some of these people have actually told you, came out and said these things. And then what happens is, oh, he's just on. He needs some medication. He's mentally ill, just so they can keep the game going, right? Everybody that spoke out about what really happens in Hollywood, they always say, oh, they're mentally ill. No, they're they need to go back into the psych ward. Oh, they're delusional. Maybe they were just drunk that day. It's all a big game to them, right? Because they want the millions and millions and billions of people that worship these people as Egyptian gods and goddesses and stuff on pyramids, right? They want to keep the game going, and the longer they keep the game going, the more money they make. The minute everybody wakes up and realizes that these people are slaves to Zionism and the devil and demonic practices and rituals and secret societies, the game's over. Hollywood makes no more. Hollywood crumbles. Zionism crumbles, right? And so they can't allow that. That's why when people speak out about it, they usually get into car crashes. Melissa Ford, right? You can spit out names all day long of people that are just have said something about the secret societies or the elites and things like that, and have been punished severely. Dave Chappelle and others, right? And have to then have to come crawling back into it because they're literally bankrupt. It's sad. This is why you should never ever sell your soul for fortune and fame. Never sign satanic contracts. You can only imagine the countless artists and actors out there that have signed satanic contracts and have had their careers destroyed or put on hold or put on the shelves by producers and record labels, and they're so frustrated. Remember the guy on Dipset named Joel Santana? Remember him? He's in prison right now, right? Remember he had a big struggle with Def Jam, and he literally only put out like two albums. Like he had the Dipset albums like he was a part of, but like his own personal career couldn't do anything because he always had disputes with the label. When you're under control, you can't even put music out, man. That's Look at what Taylor Swift's going through right now with Justin Bieber's handler, and all the other people at the record labels. She can't even like she was fighting to sing her own songs. This is what goes on when you're a controlled puppet and a Zionist. Well, this is what happens when you sign satanic contract. You are a slave. So, 50 Cent talking about Oprah Winfrey, you're only going after black men. That's because she's being told to do that. It's not that Oprah Winfrey doesn't want to go after anybody else. She's being told to only go after black, or they will destroy her career. There was a prophetic word about Oprah Winfrey back in the day. I think with Prophet Solomon saying that Oprah Winfrey would die the same way as Princess Diana. I remember that prophetic word because it clicked right in my head when I saw this, and maybe Oprah Winfrey will go after a Zionist man or a Zionist woman or something like that, and maybe that will be the death of her. But right now she's too smart to know that she's not allowed to do that, right? And so she's gonna play the game. Oprah's playing the game, but Oprah, when you play the game, because you're already in the game and you're a billionaire in the game. Well, at least that's what they tell us. But we know that if we actually strip you down of your financial situation, you're probably not a billionaire. You're probably only worth like $300 million. But anyways, if you're gonna play the game, at least help your people out, right? And she can't even do that because they're not allowed to do that either, right? They're not allowed to do that either. They're not allowed to help their own people. Okay, so this is why all these famous. This is why people keep asking the same question over and over again for years. Why can't the athletes and the artists and all of these millionaires put their money together and fund the HBCU schools, restore communities, rebuild the hoods, and do all and rebuild schools and stuff? They're not allowed to do that under the satanic contracts. Undertaking the oath of Baphomet, they're not allowed to do that stuff. They're only allowed to do turkey, paganism stuff like Thanksgiving holiday turkey giveaways and things like that. They're only allowed to do things like that. They only have a selective few things they can do. So when all these people keep saying, why can't Ti and all these people and Diddy put their money together and buy up schools and do all this, they can't do that. They're not allowed to. They're allowed to do turkey giveaways and things like that, and things that will not benefit anybody. And don't you guys notice that every time they do actually like do something like maybe they give away $1,000 something, there's always some Jews around them. If you like go on YouTube and watch like videos of people like these famous people giving away stuff, and there's always like Jews around. There's always like Zionist Jews around them, controlling everything. I saw FaZe Rug had a video of him going to the FaZe house, and Offset came in there and he delivered like pizza to them. And when they switch the camera around, it's literally Zionists, just Zionist Jews all around Offset. It's just this is this is the game they're playing, and it's a game. It's a game in the Hollywood. It's a game in the politicians in Congress. It's all a game, and we're all being played. When we wake up, when people start waking up, like completely wake up, like the game's over. The game crumbles. I wonder what they're gonna do when everybody wakes up. It's gonna be a good. It's gonna. I don't know when that's gonna happen. It might be another 100 years, but who knows when everybody's gonna wake up. But when everybody wakes up and the game is over, I wonder what they're gonna do. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna probably sell everybody to the United Nations and China. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like they're gonna say, the American citizens, we can't pay our debt. Let's just sell off the American citizens because we own them. They're not really human beings because they're basically investments on for the Social Security numbers. So we'll sell you the American people, United Nations and China. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. 50 Cent slams Oprah Winfrey for just going after the African American people and nobody else. And that's because 50 Cent she can't go after anybody else. She'll get in big trouble if she does. Peace out. God bless. Eyes open. Bye.